Mr. Miyagi style. Hey guys, just a very quick one here. Yes, this is actually going to be very quick. This is by member request. There's been a couple of people who's been asking about reducing glares to the screen itself and using lens hoods, if you can actually use a lens hood and how effective they are with lens hoods. So I've got three here. So one is the DJI A4. There's a small lens hood here, and I actually designed two for the Ace Pro. You'll see that this one's a larger one. This one's a smaller profile one, lower profile one. They do work. The only caveat to using a hood, and that's consistent with all three of these units, is action cameras have a very wide field of view if you're using action mode or ultra wide and that kind of thing, even with the DJI A4s. So if you're using just standard D-warp mode, the lens hoods would be 100% effective. Okay, just because it's a D-warped, it doesn't widen the field of view. Now, once you go beyond that with any of these cameras, you're going to start seeing the lens hood, and that's going to be the problem. Now, is it still effective? I guess what you can do in post is if you're using something in ultra wide or action mode or wide mode, and you start seeing the frame, the lens hood itself, you would have to crop in to get rid of those or just let them sit there. So effective, and I'll show you why. This one is the worst one because it actually sticks out more, so you actually have a more deeper space between the lens and the end of the hood, so you're actually going to see it and you'll see it on here. I'll show you an example of it. I don't know if I hope you can see it on this camera. Just bring the light over. Can you guys see this? Anyways, I hope you guys can see it. It's pretty close. So look at the mat, the grids. Okay, so this is D-warp mode. So in D-warp mode, if you shoot straight, you can just, because this is so thick or so deep, that even in D-warp mode, you can, when you move your camera side to side, you can actually see the lens hood itself. So this is not the best one that I designed. I would never use this. Not like in D-warp mode, you can even see it. And I can't even imagine in ultra mode. In ultra mode, you can see the frame on the side. And in action is even worse. It's like watching through a TV, right? So yeah, absolutely. This particular lens hood I wouldn't use. It's just because I think it's too deep. This was the first one to design. I looked at it and go, yeah, this is not going to work. So I redesigned it, and I went to something a little bit more smaller profile. So if you look at the two, it's much shorter. Now, how effective is that going to be with blocking out glare? It'll still help because it's still not going to glare off. This will prevent it from glaring off the lens itself, right? So let me show you what it looks like. Okay, so the same camera. Okay, so you'll notice at D-warp mode, you can't see it. Unless you move it sideways, you can kind of just see a little bit of it, but you can't see it at all. With this one, you can. With the other one, you can actually see a very slight frame. And when I move to Ultra, you'll see just a little bit in the corners of it. So it's a little bit better because it's a lower profile. And if you go to Action, you're gonna see it a little bit more. Not as bad as the other one, though. Okay, so I don't know. If you're using lens hood, you would have to just stay in D-warp, just to prevent that from. There's nothing you can do just because these things have such a wide field of view that this lens hood would have to be pretty wide. Like it would have to come out to, like this. But if it's that wide, is it going to be effective in blocking out glare? I doubt it, because the sun's going to hit it anyway, so there's no point using it, right? So it would have to be relatively close to the lens itself. And the catch-22 is because it's when you switch it to a wide field of view, you're gonna see that lens hood. That said, so the DJI is pretty much, the DJI is a little bit better, but this one's actually much smaller. It's a lower. I might do one something like this, a much much more discreet, lower profile lens hood. This one's a bit better. You don't see it. You see even in. Let me just switch it over to. So this is in D-warp. Right, but look at, if I move side to side, I can actually catch, like just quickly, I can actually catch the lens hood, and that's pretty low profile. That's like, compared to these guys, it's nothing. It's like half the size, right? And this one actually, for some reason, it's not as good as the Ace Pro when it comes to standard. Let me just switch it over to wide. So I've got this on wide, and yeah, even if I move it, so I don't know if you guys can see. If I move it slightly, you can actually see the side already. And then I can just imagine going to, oops, that's what I want. Yeah, I hate this menu. If I go to ultra wide, yeah, now you can actually see it. You don't have to move it, you can see it on the corners. And that's like on this tiny little thing, and that's pretty puny. So yeah, you're gonna get the lens glare out of the screen, but then you're gonna have to deal with that, right? So would I use it? Most of the time, I haven't really had much issues with lens flares on the screen. If I do, it's not bad to the point that I can't use my footage. So I don't know. Again, if I was to use this one here, I would do it in dewarp mode. I wouldn't even touch it in the other modes, just because then I would have to edit out or crop in to get rid of those borders. That said, guys, that's it for the lens hood. I hope that helps. If you guys are interested in the lens hood, just let me know. I'll put it up on Cult for you guys to download and print. It's 3D printed. It takes about 10 minutes to print. So, all right, guys. Ciao. Have a good one. Peace.